stand up and scream for Miss Moon Frye! Soleil Moon Frye, come on up right now! Whatever you want. This has been a social science experimental where people sit. You want to sit here? Do you want the couch?
Right there.
Do you want to just lay down? It's like a therapy
It's
session.
like a therapy session. Perfect.
We can here.
You guys, I just want to thank you each so much for being.
I mean, you can take out that. Yeah, that's yours to keep.
My heart is feeling so full of gratitude and appreciation and thanks, and this means so much to be here with all of you. So thank you. And you'll probably see me cry a lot. I'm just very emotional and very touched by you showing up, and so thank you. I really appreciate it.
Cry a lot. So
It's so healing. It's like
it is.
because Punky is such a big part of my heart. So to have you here with me and to hear your exquisite stories and be able to share this time together, it's really joyful for me.
So I have all these questions, and of course I'm only going to ask one, and I turn it over to you all because I'm here to entertain you, right? Absolutely.
Where did I get my jacket?
I actually was saying, like, what is like, oh my God, is she a NASCAR fan?
I am so excited.
Yeah. I actually have a NASCAR story. I'll tell you, not in front of them. Okay.
It feels very punky, so.
I had to ask Rodney Dangerfield, Nancy Reagan, which one was the most interesting?
Oh my God, that is an incredible question. I don't think I've ever gotten that question before.
Can I do something?
There you go.
Yes!
Both.
You have no idea how many hours I spend on this shit.
Being part of the Just Say No to Drugs Club growing up was very cool with Nancy Reagan. One of the reasons being that I got to go and hang out at the White House. And you guys, it was wild. My mom lost me at the White House. There was a lot of people. I was there for the Easter egg roll on the front lawn. It was very cool. And we got separated. There was thousands and thousands of people. And my mom was searching for me. And she found me in the Oval Office with Secret Service. And I had like my feet up on the table, and apparently I was eating Popeye's chicken. Like, what's that?
You don't remember it?
I mean, I remember the White House and all of that. I didn't remember completely where my mom found me. But
And where you got the Popeyes
yeah,
chicken.
and I mean, obviously the Secret Service. So hanging out with Nancy was quite an adventure, I would say. Really one of the most wild adventures of my life. I mean, like 8 years old at the White House, it was really cool.
Oddly enough, you're the second person I've known who's been to the Easter roll.
Really?
That I've interviewed.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
it's weird.
And of course, Rodney was
that's
like
where I was
a
about to go
legend, and
because
so yes,
I never get a chance to ask
so
people about
working
Rodney.
with him was really awesome, and he was just such a legend. It was so cool.
So you don't have like a really good story where he did something inappropriate? You do?
No, because I think he would no.
Damn it.
I remember working with some really fun people in that pilot, and I remember I don't know if he hung out with the kids so much, it was like.
I can't imagine why.
I don't really remember him mixing it up with us so much.
No, there's probably less drugs there, especially since you were just saying no.
You're funny.
Thank you. That and the kiss from Amy Asback are the best two things that happened for me today. All right. Who has our first question? You did pay cash up front. Go, sir.
I was wondering if you had any experiences with now known problems in Hollywood being child actors?
You mean as far as which problems? Like as far as growing up and having like complications and things like that growing up? As far as
being,
that?
shall we say, interviewed with the high-powered men?
It's a really interesting question. I think, my life, I was very fortunate to have a really grounded family at home, where a lot of people didn't always have that. So I was really able to have so much of my childhood, but I didn't escape it without pain and a roller coaster of different things that happened, including losing some of my very dearest friends, which I explore in the documentary Kid 90 that I made, which Jonathan Brandis and so many of my dear friends that I love so much that were a part of my childhood didn't make it out. So there was beautiful parts and there was also painful parts. And that's kind of this roller coaster of life, right? It's just that different people grow up in different areas and different neighborhoods. In LA, Hollywood, it was a little group of us that grew up together, a very small group of best friends. And again, some of us made it through and some of us didn't. I would say, as far as some of the things that I struggled with, was that I developed really rapidly as a young person. And so, so going through puberty, it was this very transformational time, because I think a lot of times they want to keep you little for as long as possible, you know? And so that was a big transition, because I was only like 13, 14 years old and I looked much older. So then it was strange because people did treat me differently. And when I would go in and want to be taken seriously in an interview or an audition, you know, I'd be talking to somebody and they wouldn't really be focused on my face, you know? So I definitely, I went through my different transitions and different kind of experiences. But yeah, I think each one of our experiences was very unique to us. Does that answer the question?
Thank you. Who's got our next one? All right. I was hoping that you guys would line up like I asked you to. Come on, you guys are so
I mean,
nervous.
he started with like the heavy hitting, hard question. I mean,
Well,
it was like,
yes,
no,
ma'am, right there.
no, it's true. I'm like, it was
I'll
a
ask
great
one.
question.
What was it like working on Sabrina the Teenage Witch? What's like your best memory of that, working
Oh
on
my
that one?
goodness, that was one of the most fun experiences of my life. One of the reasons being that Melissa Joan Hart and I really are very, very close friends, and she is one of my closest friends. So doing the show is so fun, and we have always been like forever young. So we would ride around on our scooters and like be hanging out, like, you know, we'd hang out at night, and then we'd have slumber parties, and then we'd be going to work together. So it really was like just having so much fun with your closest friends, you know, and so that was really special. I think the hardest part about it was like to get through takes, because we were always laughing all the time, at all times.
Cool.
There's a lot of magic on that show. It was very, very cool, you know.
Before we ask your question, do you mind? I'll ask one more. Will you talk a little bit about your directing? Like,
Yes.
Will you please talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
I love directing, you guys, and I love directing. I love directing when it's close to my heart. So Kid 90, which is on Hulu, that was a documentary where growing up I had taken a video camera everywhere I went, locked all the footage away for many, many years, and revisited my past, and it was a very emotional, cathartic experience.
I was about to say, how cathartic was that?
Very
how much
emotional.
did you forget? How much did you
Oh
remember?
my God, so much. And then once you open up that Pandora's box, you can't really, you know, put
it
those
back.
memories back. So that was a really big transition in my life. And now I'm finishing another few documentaries, one of which is going to be coming out on Paramount Plus, called The Carters this year, which I really hope you all will watch, which is a really heartbreaking story, really, that has to do with breaking generational patterns and trauma told through Angel Carter, the incredible Angel Carter, who lost her twin brother Aaron Carter, and 3 out of 5 siblings are no longer with us. So that is a really incredible journey that they trusted in me and to tell their story. So I'm really thankful to be a part of it.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I know,
And then another doc, Werewolf in the Waves, which is also coming out.
I know, and we could go even heavier with Alzheimer's and whatnot. But
Oh, my dad, yeah, my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sonny Boyd, which was my dad who
Yep.
had Alzheimer's. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, who had our next question? Right over here. Let's get a little more lighthearted.
Yes.
Of all the projects that you've been a part of, which one's been your favorite?
Oh, that's such a great question. Well, Punky is like forever, you know, Punky power forever and ever and ever. Punky is like, I mean, she is like the superhero that I lean into. We've been talking about it today with some of you, you know, just like she and Cherry, and just, it's just, I love Punky so much, and I'll be happy if I'm 120 years old and people still call me Punky, you know. And then I would say the documentaries, the opportunity to go with my father who had Alzheimer's and drive cross country with him and retrace his history, and what an incredible experience that was. And then Kid 90 was such a life-changing experience for me. Changed my entire life. Such an incredible experience. The last few documentaries, one which is on a childhood friend and that deals with love and addiction, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, and I'm so thankful that he trusted in me to share his story, and he's no longer with us, so I'm so thankful for that trust. And now Angel's story with the Carters, I love being able to be an instrument for something that's far bigger than me, and I am so appreciative of that, and to share stories that also we can connect to. And I think so much of the experience on the Carters was so personal because without even realizing it, I had experiences where I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize, like, I was this age when I started. You know, there were certain things where it's like, or just on the, you know, on other fronts, family dynamics, mental health, you know, conversations, things that really came up for me through the course of it, that I was like, oh wow, like, we're all touched by each other, and we're not so different, you know, from each other.
Thank you so much for sharing. Who has the next question? Yes, all the way in the back, and then I'll come up here. Oh, you'll be okay. We'll get to you. All the way in the back. Yes. Go ahead and stand up. I'm talking to you with a hat. Absolutely. Yes, please.
Hi.
Why don't you come up? Just come up here, you guys. Line up right here. You guys are so shy. This is the shyest crowd of ever of LexCon. I've been doing this for a decade, and you're the shyest crowd. Oh, you're good. You're good. You got this. No, come on up. Come on up. Just don't storm the stage. There you go.
So I grew up with rats, as you know. And I was wondering, did you meet any of the cast when you were on?
Yes, the cast of Rats. Well, it was super cool because we would actually be in there together a lot of the time. So that was really, really awesome. I love doing animation, love animated shows. Have had the incredible honor of doing Punky and Bratz and some other amazing ones in Proud Family, which is something that is so close to my heart as well. And it was really cool because they actually would have us, when you do voiceovers, a lot of times you're like alone in a box, right? And there's these really special moments when they actually bring the cast together to do the shows together. And with Bratz, we had this incredible opportunity, and I think it's one of the things that made it so special was that the dynamic of friends hanging out, you know, but it was funny because I think, like, you know, one person might be pregnant or something, and, you know, like, so you kind of maybe look different from your characters, but it was fun because you gotta, like, bring out your, you know, your inner girl power. Thank you.
Love the hat. Please, thank you so much.
I played, yeah, no, go do it.
It felt very rats and it wasn't even intended.
Well, there you go. I was fortunate enough to play Jade on Bratz, which was really cool. Very fun.
All right, thank you. I got you, home skillet. Come on, stand up.
Now, is there any chance of another Punky revival?
Right? Okay, so we did the Punky revival, and it was so much fun. And if you had asked me, like, I was convinced, like, if there was one, that was the other thing. I mean, again, Punky and the revival, like, literally so close to my heart. And so yeah, I mean, I feel like they should just keep reviving it because I feel like it's like timeless. I love that show so much.
So I'm curious, but I don't know who's going to answer this question. I've done this, and I've done this quite a bit, and several people sometimes, especially if they're child stars sometimes, don't necessarily embrace it. I know, right? Shocker. That's the space she's giving me. How are you able to do that? How are you able to look past that, you know, and look at it? So I've had other people go.
I understand. Punky, my early childhood experiences, like, that's so much of who I am. I didn't know where the character ended and I began, you know, and when I get to be here with you and you share your stories or the experience of having been touched by this character that touches my heart so much, how could I be anything other than, you know, full of immense gratitude and appreciation for that show that helped me to have this opportunity to connect and be together. I mean, like, I look at this doll and I'm like, oh my God, like that's like, that I gotta be part of that I gotta be part of something that shed light on the world, both my inner world and our collective world, like that's a privilege.
Yeah, but we both know people who don't view it that way.
Well, that's not my issue.
And we're not gonna say who it is, right? But it's really heartwarming
No.
where I said to see that, though. I don't always do.
And by the way, I think, I think that ultimately also maybe there's part of that that's wrapped up in whatever people's trauma is. So I can't make a judgment about something that someone else experienced or the way that perhaps a character that they played when brought to the schoolyard, perhaps they were made fun of or never being able to be anything but that character. You know what I mean? I think that all has to do with pain, and so I at the same time I can understand that, and also identity and like finding your own identity separate from a character that you play. So I think there's layers as to what leads to that. I just know for me, I'm very appreciative.
Thank you. All right, next question. Who had? That's right. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to let you know that in an episode of your show that in Punky Brewster you had a radio control car. My husband saw that show and has been a lifelong hobby RC grade fan all along. That's what he does.
There's a theme with race cars today, you guys. It's awesome.
I mean,
I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, I love that.
He's here in Lexington now, building an RC car.
Okay, that is one of the best stories ever, and thank you for sharing it. And it's so funny because you bringing that up, totally, it's like these things of memories, right? And it totally ignited that memory of with Punky and the race cars and what were boys allowed to like and girls allowed to like, right? There was like a whole episode, and you just totally like opened up a back road in my mind to probably why I love the race car vibe.
there's a lot of Punky Brewster episodes that deal with a lot of
I
heavy themes,
know,
especially in the second season,
I
right?
know, exactly.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Yes, in the back, young lady. Oh, I'm talking to you, Nicole.
Hi. I want to know if you have any good stories you can tell about making Pumpkinhead 2.
Oh my God, Pumpkinhead 2. I
Lovely.
love it. Pumpkinhead 2 was so much fun. Can I just tell you, okay, there were so many fun things about it. We had such a blast. Like, I've been really fortunate to work on some fantastic, fun films that have been so much fun. I mean, literally more fun than they were. Like, Pumpkinhead 2, Piranha, like, I'm just saying, like, I had some, like, real winners there that were just the most fun experience where it felt like summer camp. Liars Club, oh my God. There's a list. In addition to, like, I had a great time with friends. Like, there's been, like, some really fun experiences. Pumpkinhead 2 was like summer camp. I remember Hill Harper would give me a ride, because I don't even know if I was old enough to drive at the time, and we would listen to Sade and like blast music in the car. That was really fun. Then we would go to work, and we were working nights, so we were literally like running around in the forest, like with smoke machines all night long, and like fake blood. And I loved horror films as a kid growing up. It was like my favorite. So I was like living my dream. So much fun. We all got along so well. We played, and then one of the people like lived nearby there, so then we would just go like sleep at their house for a few hours and then go back to work. So it really wasn't really like work. It was pretty much like playing make-believe with a big creature that like, I think he even like poked me up into the sky or something, like in the death scene. It was very strange, and there was fake blood and the thing. It was just really fun. And I think it's one of the greatest death scenes maybe ever made. You can pull it up. I mean, we might have to watch it. Wait, and then there was something else that happened. I can't. Oh, the funniest was then having to go do ADR, like when you go and record like voice things, like the running and stuff. You're like, like and like afterwards you have to like make up the voice things. I mean, there was that was a great experience. It was really fun. I'm using my hand.
No, I love this.
It took me back to I love it. Somebody brought the
time.
poster today. It was so cool. Are you here? Is that person here? I don't know. They had the Pumpkinhead poster. It was so cool.
That's cool. All right. Yes, sir. All right, we only have time.
It's like, wait, hold on.
This is your show.
There was like soap operas where they would change out an actor.
Yeah.
Soap operas or regular TV. Like they just all of a sudden like changed out. It was the 80s, and you could do that. You could just, like today you wouldn't get away with that, right? You would not get away with just like swapping out a character, right?
There would be there wasn't message boards with trolls on it.
Right, exactly. But back then, you could just like sneak in someone. All of a sudden, someone was in a coma and they came out and it was a totally different person playing them. That is fascinating. I think it was like that.
Yeah, there's 2 Dumbledores. Couple more questions. Made myself laugh. Go ahead, sir.
How normal? Oh my God, I love you. You're so sweet. Okay. Oh my God. It was not quite normal, but there was a lot of love. So it was different because when I went to work, I would go and do a big day of work, but my work was playing make-believe, and I loved playing make-believe. And they made it so special for us that we were still able to be kids, and that was really important to my family and to the creators, and probably one of the reasons, honestly, about your question around growing up and having a really positive experience. I don't know that all sets were like that. Ours was. We were on pogo sticks. We were on scooters and riding bikes and playing hide and seek. But we were playing hide and seek in like Johnny Carson's office, who was a famous amazing talk show comedy, amazing genius. And so we would like get in trouble for hiding like in his office or something. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't normal, but we were still doing things that kids do. And every summer I went to summer camp, and my mom, didn't want me to work during the summer, so I was able to have that. And I came home and I would roller skate in the neighborhood and stuff like that. So I was able to have that, and I think that made a big difference in my life. And I think oftentimes, for example, I know with my kids, like they love to perform. And so I think sometimes kids are natural performers and they love being on stage, or they might love being a stand-up comedian. My son loves doing stand-up comedy. And so I wouldn't want to stop that from my kid. And I think my family really encouraged that for me, but not all kids growing up want to do that. And I think that when kids get pressured into it, that can become a really hard road, because then it doesn't feel so normal.
Good job, sir.
Great question.
All right, we have time for okay, we'll do 2 real quick. You, and then you.
Such a good question. Gosh, love that.
Come on.
So, I watched you more in Sabrina. So, like, that character was very much so, like, upfront, like, I will beat your butt, like, sort of person. So, I was very curious if any of that is, like, how you are, or, like, how you were at the time, just to, like, make it more believable. I absolutely loved you.
Thank you so much, Roxy. I love playing Roxy. Thank you so much. And I had done a film around that time called The Girls' Room, where the character I felt like was really had that edge as well. And I've always loved to play characters that like bring out different sides of myself. I think for me, like being really transparent and being in my truth is really important in life. I always say, like, I feel like I took some kind of truth serum some years ago, where it's just like, if you don't want to know, don't ask me, because like I will have to tell you the truth. I can't lie. And I love that about Roxy, is that she had a more like hardcore way of putting it, but I think she was in her truth. I felt like she was of her truth, and I love characters like that are just being their most authentic, honest selves, honest parts of themselves. And I feel like I, at that time, wasn't as secure of a person. And so I got to act that out through her, and I probably wanted to be more in my truth. And so that was a really beautiful connection for me, to have someone that would just speak their mind and, tell people how it was, because that's probably the parts that I secretly wanted to have within myself.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
All right. Now, I know we only have 1 question left. Just a reminder. Soleil's going to be at our table all weekend. If you didn't get your question, you're going to go see her. Go stop by and see her.
He's coming out of you.
Yes, please. Who is our last question? It was right over here. I saw the hand. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have any thoughts on Punky having one of the coolest beds ever?
Oh, thank you for asking. Yes, it was the coolest that, the bed, it went like, I had so much fun. Literally, it was so cool. It was like, that's the thing, the Punky set was like the coolest. coolest set ever to be on, like the treehouse, the punky bed, and I have to say, God bless George Gaines. Like I feel him watching over me. He was the gentlest, kindest actor to work with, and human being beyond anything. And to think back of how wild we were, like, I mean, we were wild at times. And his patience and his huge heart, he always showed up and was so professional and also so kind. And in hindsight, you know, like if there was something I would want to like tell him or say to him, it's like, thank you so much, because he really allowed us to be kids as well. And he was a really good man. And so many of my scenes were with him in that room, so it like very much touches my heart when I think about it, because like he was just always like this huge, beautiful, bright smile, and was really kind. And so I had the coolest bed ever with one of the coolest people ever to be doing those scenes with, and that got me through a lot of my own childhood stuff, because I was able to do a lot of my healing through the character, which I didn't even like realize it as much as I have in retrospect, like looking back on it.
What a beautiful way to end it. Thank you.
So to George Gaines and
Please.
to all of you.
Give it up. He's going to be here all weekend. Soleil and Frye, thank you so much. Thank you all, Lexington. Thank you. And I will see you in 1 hour.